Okay, let us do this. Let us do this. Okay, what's going on here? Whoa! Aussie boy, thank you. That's incredible. That's really very incredible. Okay, so let's see, is this actually... Oh, this is a bit weird. Can people actually see my screen? That's a bit strange. Let me just check something. Well, I am going to need to see what is going on. Can people see anything other than my VS Code window? Ponky, are you the one who opened the PR? There's something strange going on with my screen capture then. Ah, wait. I shouldn't be using a window capture. Let's try this. There we go. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's do this. So, what was I was in the middle of something there, like test-utils. And this is good because I am sorry everyone for that slight weirdness. I was a bit thrown by that. What we need to do here is merge nuxt-vitest into nuxt test-utils. So we have nuxt test-utils. There's some stuff we've already started going, and we basically need to take nuxt-vitest and everything that it does. It has two different packages and some different subpath exports, and we all need to smush it into one package or maybe a couple of packages. And I think one package should be fine, and try and make that happen. Just because keeping them as separate packages is, I think, a little bit confusing for this point at this moment. Hey, Milas, welcome. Good to see you. So, whoa, a hype train. Incredible. So basically that's the thing, and hopefully it's going to be. Wait, this is a PR I myself have opened, and for some reason have not yet merged. Let's merge it. I feel like that is a definite... Oh, of course I can approve it. And that is where an example. Cool. And what else do we have? An autofix. Yes, I went through so many repos. I just sort of got repo blindness after the end, but I think I updated the Modrinth one to combine the import. So I think that's okay, but it might need to be checked further. I think use nuxt app is. Let me just check that. You've made me worried about this. It's auto-importable, right? Yes, it's auto-importable. And basically, like it should make it shouldn't make a huge difference, but basically it might make a difference for you. And so anyway, I just opened a lot of different PRs. It was maybe too many different PRs. I didn't want to spam people, but I thought it might be helpful. So like there was a lot of them. Yeah, they are. That was a day of PRs, but I was just sort of sitting watching Netflix, and it was someone closed it. They were like, sorry, not maintaining this project anymore, which is perfectly fair. Okay. Also, I did write a little tool to help me do it, and I'm going to keep on sort of using that, I think, as a bit of a useful thing. Okay, so the first thing to do here for nuxt-test-utils is it's actually somehow a less popular repo than nuxt-vitest. I first want to merge everything that I want to merge so that we don't miss anything out. Although it's not Julian, hello. It's not a total waste because I can always still merge PRs in later. So I think I need to have an idea of now we've got a decent test suite, and in nuxt-vitest at the moment, and we have two different packages, which is we have got nuxt-vitest and vitest environment nuxt, and that is because originally we created vitest environment nuxt. I created that, and Anthony created nuxt-vitest, and we eventually sort of merged them into one. And they depend on each other. So nuxt-vitest is a module with some utilities. And vitest environment nuxt is a vitest environment, which has a particular... Oh, Punky, nice to have you join, however briefly, and see you later. And vitest environment nuxt is a vitest environment. So we have this sort of... vitest has this concept of environments, and basically it has a sort of object syntax. Now there's some breaking changes that we might be able to have a look at as we update this. So yes, cool. So basically we need to be able to have this environment. We can specify a path, which is good because now it doesn't need to be named vitest environment nuxt specifically. So I think this should be a little bit simpler than otherwise I would worry about. So we want to merge it in, and ideally we want to merge it in with its history so that we can track and see what there is. Cool. So, what am I saying? Okay, so we want to be able to merge it in with the history, and thankfully we have quite a useful little utility for that. Hey, welcome HT. Okay. So what else can we merge here? Hopefully we can update testing library view. Please tell me this is just a node. Oh no, there's an upstream issue. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so we're not going to be able to update that yet. The setup state, let's see if we can merge this PR first. Mehmet, good to see you. Okay, I'm going to quickly refactor this one. I think we just need to make sure we don't have any extraneous lint changes. So if I run lint locally, then that should reduce the diff. $78.30, and hopefully this will decrease a second. $29.2, much nicer. Okay, So this sets the setup state. Yeah, that's fair. Yes, this is Material Pale Night. That is a good eye. I love it. It is my favorite theme. To the extent that I as much as possible, I make other things Material Pale Night that don't already have Material Pale Night themes. I really like the appearance of it. Tina, good to see you. I can't believe I missed you. Obviously, View Toronto, it would have been really nice to see you, and thankfully there were some others there. Yes, David, you have got it. That is absolutely right. That is the place to see it. Okay. So, what am I going to do? Great. Squash. On which updates? Like you mean after the end of today? So nuxt-test-utils has a nightly channel. So if you're looking to get the latest updates and test-utils, you can grab it via nuxt-test-utils nightly. We have a nightly release which runs here, and you'll basically get a nightly release. Oops, probably actually should update that. This was only meant for testing. But yeah, I'll probably release it with a minor bump straight away because it's not depending on Nuxt. It's a separate thing. So, okay, so I think we're ready to go. So we've merged this in, thanks Tim, and I think we should be good to go. So let's first see what we need to do to make it possible. So, test-utils, we've got our source, we've got our various utilities here, and we probably need to have a subpath export. So I think probably we might want to rearrange this a little bit. So we have, yeah, this is all of this set up. These are environment specific. We have our global setup. That's for running it with the CLI. And then we have all of our sort of utilities here. And we'll probably want to isolate this slightly. So this is going to be a little bit limited by our builder. So we'll probably need to specify the input and output entries at this point. So I think for a start, let's create a core folder and move browser context, mock nuxt server, and setup run and types into this core. Does can stay top level because it's more of a utility that's used elsewhere. And we're going to call this refactor nuxt-vitest. Okay. So we've got our experimental features, our core features, our directories. This actually seems like quite a safe change to make. Nothing else should be depending on it. Okay, so build seems fine. Actually, I think this is probably a safe change to make, even directly to main. So let's see, refactor, split core utils to core. Okay. Now runtime, what's that used by? Yeah. This is used by our command. Yeah. Okay, let's just start by moving some stuff across, and we'll worry about commit history in a moment. So okay, we have 2 packages and a playground. And then, that's right, 2 packages and a playground. And we've got some subpath exports. So let's just document them. So at the moment in README, we have got import vitest environment nuxt. I think is that ever used directly? Yeah, we've got our utils, which is, I think, re-exported by nuxt-vitest, which is fair. So we're going to need, sorry, you're getting me thinking a lot on this. Honestly, I haven't. This is mostly to force me to think about this. Okay, so we'll save this as a little to-do and pull it out. And we're basically going to need to support a subpath which exports a vitest environment. And we're going to need a subpath which exports a nuxt module, which can set everything up. So, and then we also have to have, which exports some utils, which only work in runtime environment. And of course, we have our existing subpaths, which are experimental, and then just the core module, component tests. And this, I think, will probably have something like module. We need a utils which only work in runtime environments. That should be something like runtime. So basically, we're looking at nuxt test-utils, right? So it's going to be it needs to be intuitive, the API here. And then I think, and vitest is only one option, right? So we also would want to maybe have the option of having a jest thing. It might be that we actually need to have a separate package. Omar, pizza, good to see you. Biscoitos. Okay, so we basically want to have something like nuxt. We might try nuxt-vitest environment, or even nuxt-vitest. But basically, we need to have like these are the things. So this is the same as nuxt, is vtest environment nuxt right now. This is the same as nuxt-vitest right now. This is the same as nuxt-vitest utils and vtest environment nuxt-utils. And then these are the existing modules. So, and these are the proposed new modules. Imports, I guess. So let's just think about this. David, hello. Nice to see you. HT, yes, we will be providing some documentation. So already you can help with that if you want. Because nuxt-vitest, I'm happy to document right now in the nuxt.com docs. The aim is to merge it all in, and so it will just be updating imports down the line. So if somebody ever wanted to do that, just take the README of the nuxt-vitest and merge it into nuxt.com. That would be great. So I think it's okay. So basically the reason we would want a separate thing is sort of dependencies. So some of these should be user-facing and some of these should not be user-facing. For example, we use Playwright all the time in the Nuxt core repo. So if you check out Nuxt and you look at our tests, so we basically do this. So Nuxt test-utils exports something called create page, which just gives you back a Playwright page. And you then do all of your normal Playwright testing there. Qubit, hello, and thank you. So you can basically do all of your normal Playwright testing, just there. And that would include like page, all of the stuff that you would want to do in Playwright. Screenshot, for example. So yeah, check that out. It will be helpful. So we're first doing some API decisions. So you should feel free to weigh in on this. So let's see. Objectives hide as much as possible from end user. So in other words, this might be complex. That's fine as long as it's not actually complex when people configure it. At the moment, using vtest environment nuxt or nuxt-vitest, you basically have to add the dependency, like happy DOM or whatever you're using. So we also support JS DOM. And then you basically create your vtest config, and then you can test your stuff. And I think you then only need, you can import certain runtime utilities like render suspended or mock nuxt import, mock component, register endpoint. All these utilities are documented from nuxt-vitest. And then there's, I think it would make sense for these to be something like nuxt test-utils runtime, because they are runtime stuff. So I think that makes sense. Does that sound right to people? So basically we have a subpath for utilities which depend on being run in a Nuxt environment. So they're not just going to work in Node. They need to be run in the right context. Then this module nobody should need to add nuxt-vitest as a module. I think it adds itself. Oh, we do specify that. I wonder if there's a way to avoid that. To avoid the need for that, I mean. I think we could avoid the need for that, actually. The only reason why it needs to be specified is that it adds a tab in DevTools. So okay, so to do allow omitting module from nuxt config. So basically, at the moment, the module will do stuff like it's going to install another module. It's going to make some configuration, and it's going to add a custom tab for DevTools. And start vitest in the background when needed. So that's a useful thing. Hey, thank you, Biscoitus. Yes, this can all, this can all be checked inside the module. So the question is should we tell the user to add it manually? I'm trying to think, is there a way we can make this simpler? So right now, people interact with nuxt test-utils. We can't avoid having a second one, I think, which has to have the runtime utilities. And we're also going to have something which is vitest specific, because people are going to need to configure their vitest config. So they're going to need to do something like import define vitest config from. But this is getting unwieldy, right? At this point, like these are like 4 different subpath exports that people are going to need to figure out. And so if there's a way we can simplify that, which is also why we're merging it, right? We're merging it to make it simpler so people don't have to juggle so many things. So I don't think, I think we're going to need to have so possibly nuxt test-utils module is something that nuxt could inject itself. As in, nuxt can say this is a first-party module, and like DevTools, we're going to enable it if it's present, like if the user has installed nuxt test-utils. So there is something in that, like we could do that. But they would also need to have vitest. We would have to have enough. Maybe they have to have a vitest config. I don't know. There would be something where we would have to detect it. The simplest thing, I guess, is to just port it across so the behavior is the same as at the moment. So it's a pretty simple migration, and treat the rest as either a breaking change or like an upgrade or something. Okay, I think that's probably what I think we probably need to. I think I've convinced myself there that we need to simplify this. So sort of keep it one-to-one for the moment. Exactly. So if we can do that, that would be better, right? I think that make it sort of auto installable, or yeah. So what do I recommend for a monorepo, like NX or Turbo Repo or something like that? I would, try both. They have different pros and cons. Check out their, I like both. We're using Turbo Repo in the nuxt examples repo, if you want to see a nuxt setup. But I will say absolutely, whenever you set up anything, you have to be super careful with what you define as your dependencies, because it's really possible to create a setup that works fine on the first run and not on the second run because of caching. It's just the way. Hey, hello. Good to see you. So auto install the nuxt test-utils module, you mean? Maybe. It would also be good to, so at the moment we have a nuxt command, a nuxt-test, but it would be nice to make that instead, we likely need to have a binary here, which is like nuxt-test, which runs the CLI, and then we need to basically defer, like nuxt shouldn't be handling testing. So at the moment nuxt is, so we have this test command, which actually like imports the test-utils and then sort of does this run test thing. So I think this is probably something that we don't want to do. We probably want to handle this directly in nuxt test-utils and not have a test command in nuxt at all. Nuxt wants to defer to test-utils. Basically anything that is named like nuxt dash something should be a nuxt command. It should be auto-detected. That's on the roadmap of nuxt CLI already. So we have the sort of issue here tracking the it's probably a very old one. This one, CLI subcommand support. And we are likely going to want to so we'll likely just support nuxt test, and that will make sense. But this is maybe a little bit too soon. But we'll still add a note: support nuxt test binary in package JSON. See there. Okay. NX is doing some great work to add nuxt support, by the way. I've been chatting to Katerina and Jury, and they're doing great stuff for nuxt. So I'm really, really glad to see that. So do check it out. I don't know if it's released yet, so I'll have to check on that. Okay, so we basically have core, which is this sort of index subpath. We're going to need to have a module. We're going to need to have a vitest environment, and confusingly, we'll also have a runtime, or maybe just a runtime utils subpath might be clearer. So Bootstrap View and Nuxt UI are not they're not the same thing at all. They're just two different component libraries. So Bootstrap View there are a couple of projects I think that want to inherit the mantle of Bootstrap View. So check them out. I think one of them, Vivid Lemon, is active in the Nuxt repo. Where is Vivid Lemon? Pretty sure Isaiah. I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's this Bootstrap View Next. I don't know if you've tried that, but that might be something that you want to have a look at for if you're migrating to Bootstrap 5 with Vue 3. Hey, Fayaz. Good. Good to see you. Okay. A global setup. It's used by the core. That might be confusing. We might need to rechange that. This might need to be a separate thing, like CLI or whatever. Because this is similar. Like this has its own vitest config, which is probably not quite right. We might need to update it or track with the new libs that we're bringing in place. Okay, so we are going to pull in yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay, so just to say, Aussie Boy's suggesting like different environments. So so we could do something like that. But this actually is not something anybody will be I think it might be safe even to do this. Okay, basically because at the moment we have a we actually have vitest environment nuxt config. So we have this, which is actually the same as vitest environment nuxt config and nuxt-vitest config, and that's a different thing. So thanks for the reminder here. So we might be able to do environments, and what you do is, or just config, and you can basically, at the moment we have this import define vitest config from nuxt-vitest config. So like this should be safe to also have like a define jest config, or like we just export them all. At some point we could split it into separate packages. But I mean, that's going to be a breaking change. So if we just have a config subpath, let's port, that's probably a more straightforward one to port across. So let's do it. I'm just trying to think about the best way to preserve version history. So I think we should be good to do it, maybe port everything across and then reorganize it. That might be better. So if we did, so we're going to be using get filter repo. So, which is amazing. If you haven't used it, get filter repo allows you to sort of like filter certain commits across. And so we could do something like, we want to merge across we only care about packages, vitest environment nuxt, nuxt-vitest, what do we care about? Config. So this is what we care about, this thing. So we can just directly merge this one across, and I think, what does it depend on? Vitest. Cool. So, okay, so to start with, let's create these things and add nuxt-vitest as a dependency. So we're going to add nuxt-vitest and vitest environment nuxt. I think this is a sensible thing to do, right? We're going to make it as straightforward, step-by-step as possible. And so we're going to basically create some things that just re-export to start with. So we want to have, and then we're going to create a test suite and then make sure the test suite keeps working. So we're going to have a config, we're going to have module, we're going to have vitest environment and runtime utils. And we're going to have runtime utils. Okay. So we've created 4 new subpaths, and we're going to add them here as separate subpaths. So we have got config, we have module, runtime utils, vitest environment. Okay, so we basically, I'm just going to stick these in. Config. We've got experimental, we have module, we have runtime utils, and vitest environment. And we don't need to specify, this is wrong to specify the types in this way. Maybe I should fix that one first. Okay, sorry, just quickly going to fix the types. So in this case, the types are d.mts, which shouldn't need to be specified. So we should just be able to say this, and we should just be, should just be able to say this and this. That should be fine, actually. And yeah. fix use implied.d.mts types. And let's just check and mpx, what is it, publint. Okay, so we'll push that up as well and just check that that's the case. So at the moment, I think if we were to run publint on nuxt test-utils nightly, see what it's going to tell us. Actually, it says all good. I guess it's technically fine, but I think it's better to use the implied type in this case. Okay, so let's git stash pop. And we basically want to add these, what were they? Config, module, runtime types, vitest environment. And we are going to keep our current and just add them here like this. Beautiful. And just reorder those two. Okay. Cool. pm dev prepare. Publint is lovely. It's really nice. We recently added it to the nuxt CI. No, module builder CI. So it actually just runs to make sure that we're generating stuff that is valid. Okay, config, experimental module, runtime utils, vitest environment, and if I run build, oh, I probably have to add these to my build config as well. This is unbuild, and we're for some reason manually specifying these, but that's fine. I think it probably should auto detect them. We should just be able to say this like that. Cool. And it's warning us that there's some empty chunks here, which is a fair warning. But it is generating them. So you see, like, we've got some empty chunks. Great. And this is what they need to do. So nuxt-vitest, we have the config path. Do we also have a config subpath in? No, it's only nuxt-vitest. That's fine, we'll just export star from nuxt-vitest. Okay, that is what that does. We have a module, which is here. We have it in both vitest environment and nuxt-vitest. So we've got this nuxt-vitest has content and vitest environment nuxt. Basically just, oh, it actually has a separate module. Huh, there are two of them. I think we can merge those two into one. So, but nobody is actually doing this on its own. I think people are only ever using the module from nuxt-vitest. So we'll say export default from nuxt-vitest module. Okay, we have a what are our other ones? We have utils. We've already covered config. So we have utils. Vitest environment nuxt has some exports, and we also have nuxt-vitest, which just exports them from there. Okay, so we have our runtime utils. And finally, we have our vitest environment, and that is just going to export the vitest environment nuxt, which is actually just a default export. Okay, so we now have our subpaths set up. I have tried Sheriff or Sharif. I've not quite decided. So now I think if we were to build this would work. I haven't posted anywhere about my streaming setup, by the way, but I would be totally happy to do that. If you have any questions about it, maybe that would be useful. Oh, this looks like a bug. That's probably like in the pretty printing of the. Okay, so basically at this point, this should mean that add nuxt-vitest support to nuxt test-utils. Okay, so that's re-exports. Now this gives us the opportunity to add tests, right, to check that things are working. So let's copy across the tests from nuxt-vitest. Where are our tests? Do you know, I have a positive feeling that maybe our tests are just in this playground. Is that possible? Where are our tests? We have test types and we have playground. That's it. Okay, so we should just be able to copy across the playground. Let's try that. And copy it into examples nuxt-vitest, say, to start with. And I'm trying to think, is there a way for me to preserve all the history of this? Because this is the first actual bit of code I've copied across. Okay, we have examples module playground. That's fine. So we should be able to the get ignore. And instead of nuxt-vitest, we should be nuxt test-utils config, right? Should be good. Oh, we also need to create some stubs for non-bundler approach. So we basically need to do this. This should probably have been in the previous commit. So we're just going to export everything from config. This is just to fool old TypeScript. And then we have module. Actually, I'm not sure we need this, but we also have runtime utils. And vitest environment. Okay, and actually let's just undo that last commit and add our re-exports, which haven't showed up. Are they excluded somehow? Oh. And we need to actually add them to our package.json as well in our files list. There we go. Great. Okay. Great. Okay, so we have some re-export paths. Close everything, please. Let's just, update this. So why is that not working? Build stub, maybe? Dev prepare. Oh, what is going on here? We shouldn't need to depend on that or that, but we do need to have nuxt-devtools, nuxt test-utils. Yeah. and yeah, okay. So that's not working. Oh. Why is that? Oh. Not sure why that was not put in place. Great. So now our playground should still work. Okay, and it should add nuxt test-utils module. And I don't know if we need these anymore. Let's remove them. And let's see, I need to look for vtest environment nuxt in examples. What are they, examples? And basically we need to sort of get rid of any references there. Okay, and we'll update those. So the tests need to be nuxt. Cool. So let's just do a quick replace of that. Cool. Okay, so I think that is, we now have no references to vtest environment nuxt or nuxt-vitest in our config. So let's just see if we can run our test suite. I'm expecting it's going to break, right? Like, I don't think we've done enough really to justify this working. So yeah, module not found. Interesting. It's not finding view router. What version do we have? We only have one. So it's not that. It is this issue of it being inlined or not. Let's just check what our vtest version is. 3.3, that's right. Oops. Oh, it might be something to do with the fact that we now need to inline not just, so here we inline vtest environment nuxt, but we probably need to inline now nuxt test-utils. Transpile maybe, or possibly inline. Okay, so it's basically here, test deps inline. So let's just try that as a quick test deps. This will obviously need to be covered by the module once we get going with it. But for now, nuxt test-utils needs to be inlined. Let's try that. No, not enough. Okay. Oh, I think we also previously specified Let's try it one more time. Why is this happening? It's possible that this is the thing. So let's just try this. Let's try this. Nuxt test-utils. Should be what's that? Source config, and this should be source runtime utils. Okay, it might be relevant here. Okay, so we're loading it here, runtime utils. And it needs to find oh, it's not 1 up, it's 2 up, isn't it? Hey, woof. Okay, stuff is running. Still seem to have some issues with different versions of urouter being imported, so we need to fix that. But we are a bit further than we were before. Yeah, nothing's passing, but it is running. So the configuration was able to run. Let's remove these just in case there's some issue with that. Some have run, I guess. So some have run and some are not running correctly. So we will have to find that out. So this config, let's see. Okay, so that's fine. That is definitely reliant on the environment. So let's have a look at what the specifics is. Oh, we are actually very, very specifically checking to see that all of the mocks are imported from a particular path. So let's see. we can probably, we want examples. And it needs to be, this actually needs to be from, I think, nuxt-vitest utils. Okay, so let's see, to do update import when we merge. Okay, and we'll do the same here. Try that again. Doesn't seem to be solving it. Okay, the mocks aren't working. The renders aren't working either. Okay, let's narrow this down a little bit. So actually the test suite here is a little bit more complex. We have several 4 tests. So let's try our type test. Wait a second. Prepare. Actually, let me just quickly test something. So we have a Oh, I think this might be because we're depending on the published version of nuxt-vitest, but we've just merged a new feature into it. So let's quickly release it. Okay, let's do that. Oops. So this is fine because basically we have to tag everything up. So we don't yet have proper monorepo support, which it will come soon, I hope. Okay, chore release that, and we will push that, and then we will tag it, I guess. And then we will, what else will we do? We had, in our release, we wanted to run the release script. There we go. Hey, 6412 and Foji. Nice to see you. Sorry. And Esteban. Sorry, I've missed you all in my focus on releasing this thing, but it's really nice to see you. Okay, let's just push that up. And so we now have 11.4, which should be let's just check. Is that properly connected to the right tag? Seems to be. Good. Okay, so that should now mean we can bump our version in test-utils and get rid of some of these errors here. Let's try that again then. Why is that not working? It's still coming in at the wrong version. Why is that? Oh, it's probably just my IDE. No, it's not just my IDE. Why? How was that passing before? Maybe I need to update the... No, that is very fantastic for 12, and I think you'll find a lot of opportunity to maybe be involved on the compiler side of things more in on Nuxt as well. Nuxt-vitest. I'm going to take a couple of minutes to go and get a fresh cup of tea while this test runs. So do stick around. I'll be back in just 5 minutes. And then I can tell you all my hot take on the new Argentinian president. Or not. We'll see. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I am back. So, it is not PG Tips. It is a better tea. Better than PG Tips, I am just saying. And hey, Brocard, nice to see you. So, yes, and those were shots fired when I said it was better than PG. It's not Typhoon either. It is Yorkshire tea, which is the best tea in the UK, I think. Yorkshire tea, I'm just looking away. I don't even know what you're going to say. Yorkshire is the best. Oh, it is. It totally is. I'm just going to put this out there. We have a lot of amazing, there you go. So your partner will agree. You can tell your partner, please tell you. Have a look at this channel. These are amazing videos. Amazing. So definitely check it out. It's great. Where am I? Tests are failing. They've not mysteriously been fixed by going away. But I think, is it view? No, not as simple as that. But basically this error that we're getting here is something is, hey, Ben and team, welcome. It's so nice to, excellent, I'm bonding with 6412's partner. Like we see each other eye to eye. We say Yorkshire tea is the best. But Ben, and Tony, I do start my day with a cup of coffee, and then it's tea all the way. I will say I'm really relaxing because I have the fire on at the moment. You probably can't see it, but I will turn the camera very slowly so you can see the fire burning away. And I didn't have any. Pilcrow, you were here? Oh, you're going. But that's really nice to see you. I am sort of such a fan of Lucia. So anyway, and also for your contributions to Nuxt. So I appreciate it. But basically all day today I was cold. And hence my scarf, which I had on a moment ago. And I thought, I'm going to put the fire on and actually be sort of comfortable while streaming. So that is nice. Okay. This basically is telling me that some code is not being transpiled, I think. Let's see if I can figure out which code it's not being transpiled. Maybe view router. Maybe. Okay, we shouldn't need to depend on that anymore. Not that makes a difference. Could it be something like this? Not really sure I have that. Let's just try running just one test. Okay. Test unit. I'm expecting this to be fine, right? No. Okay, that's just running vitest on its own. I guess that was the whole thing that we were doing. Okay, we never got beyond it, I guess. Test dev. Let's try that. See you, RC boy. I won't be around in an hour. I have a hard appointment to help put up the Christmas tree. So that will be fun. And what we're doing right now is we are trying to merge two entirely separate projects. So Nuxt test-utils and nuxt-vitest. So we have Nuxt test-utils here, and we have nuxt-vitest here. And basically we want to merge them across. But right now I haven't actually moved any code other than I've created some endpoints, like some subpath exports. And I am now moving the test suite across. So the subpath exports point to the other package, and the test basically will verify that everything's working with the subpath exports, and then I'll move the code across and make sure it's still working. So that hopefully will prevent any sort of massive. I'm glad to know that. Hopefully, it will prevent any massive issue. It will reduce the breaking surface to manageable chunks along the way, because it is a big shift, right? So, okay, I'm just going to run the type test, which also is going to fail. Why is everything failing? This should be. Why is it not returning the setup state? And why does this work in nuxt-vitest? So, okay. This is why. Okay. Okay, this is actually failing on the main branch. If it's failing on the main branch, why is CI passing? Is my question. One of my favorite cantatas is Bach's Coffee Cantata. Have you ever seen this? It's fantastic. So the whole concept of this one is a woman. Let's see, where is it? A woman spends a lot of time drinking coffee, and her father threatens to marry her off to somebody else because she's too rebellious to be drinking coffee. And she strikes a deal with him that she will consent to be married off as long as she can pick the man. So she then picks a man and strikes a deal with him that as long as she can drink as much coffee as she wants, she will marry him. And so the cantata finishes with happy ever after. The woman is able to drink as much coffee as she wants. So that's a wonderful, wonderful story. Yeah. I see our test suite doesn't actually run the type test. That is terrifying. Okay, so this is actually very disturbing for me to see. Okay, so we're running, what are we running? We're running happy unit JS DOM. We're not running a happy DOM test. Oh no, we are, but it should be test happy DOM. Like that. And then we should be running a type test. That's bad. Okay, CI tests. This is going to fail because we know it fails locally. And so it is going to fail. It's not going to return the setup state. In fact, it makes me wonder whether I should have merged that PR. But we need to specify that we are returning setup state I'm not 100% convinced that I'm doing anything useful here. So this needs to have a setup state property. And if I just said any, let's just check that that's flowing through. Why is that not? Ah, it needs to be within here. Okay, so let's just pull that in and stick it there. So that should now be passing. But now we need to specify that this, and just like further clarify that mock component. What's the type of mock component? It has to, so actually we're interested in, I think we have to not, I think we basically just have to say this is any. So, sorry if that's loud for you. Okay, so let's just try that fix. Add setup state property on return value of not suspended. Oh, and we'll have to specify that there as well. Okay, and we'll try running test. Oops. That's interesting. Why would this... I'm guessing this is one of the classic issues with sort of types and multiple copies of the same library. Probably a different version of magic string. Let's try that one more time. Seems to be pass. Okay. Another controversial question. What biscuit goes... I feel biscoitos should be the one to actually answer this question given the name. But what biscuit goes best with tea? That is such a difficult one. I am partial, personally, to a hobnob. I also love a ginger biscuit. Those are, I think, my favorite. Oh dear, chaos ensues. Excellent. I'm glad to see. So, sort of, we're all agreed in terms of taste. So, yeah. Oh, that poor McPizza. You know, enduring lovely, wonderful climate in the Mediterranean. So hot. Hey, Todd and Nick. Nice to see you all. Welcome. It's great. Such a pleasure. We are just agreeing on biscuits and tea, and McPizza is complaining that he's living in tropical climes and has to import his biscuits from England. Yeah. So what have you been doing, Nick? What's been the subject of the stream? I would totally take tropical climates. I mean, honestly, can you imagine? I've got the fire on. I'm a totally different world right now. Welcome. So, the spacey, absolutely. But there's something so cozy about it, I will say. Yes. Chocolate-coated hobnobs are that is... Phoenix is a sauna. I thought Phoenix was dry heat. I thought it was just... Oh, I guess sauna is dry heat as well. There we go. I do. The cat is wanting to come in the door. So I don't know if you feel I should let the cat come in, but hey, what is Nuxt? Nuxt is a framework for building full stack web apps. You can find out more about it at nuxt.com, which might answer a few questions. Cool. I wish that would have been such a good idea. I didn't even think about it. It wouldn't be... Okay, look. If you're hearing the cat, I'll let the cat in. The cat has been allowed into the room. Right. The conference, by the way, that Todd is talking about is modern front ends, which no longer exists in web format. Yes, the cat is now appearing and approaching. Here she is. If you want to see, she is taking up her place in my lap, and she is very happy to be there. So if you hear sort of purring, that will be why. Yes, I see. Thank you. It was very sad. I found it tough, but you can hear the purring. Excellent. I think she would be pleased to know that she is being heard by a lot of people. Well, I mean, you know, relatively speaking, more than she normally gets to be heard by. Okay. So somehow I need to. What was the change in my nuxt-vitest? Okay, git log. Oh. Yeah, hi. So from here. So just this. Oh, I guess I need to actually release it again. That's a pain. Her name is Barley. That's Barley. I also have two other cats, Gulliver and Lily. So. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. It's actually my birthday. I'm not sure whether Thanksgiving is my birthday this year, but my birthday sometimes falls on Thanksgiving. No, it's not my birthday this year. But some people often don't realize that the Thanksgiving is the 4th Thursday in November. So it's not the last one, but the 4th one. So this year, that makes a difference because the 30th is the last Thursday. So this year, this Thursday, the 23rd, is Thanksgiving. So yes, thank you for the... Okay, so released. And now bump nuxt-vitest version to 6. 5. And also here, vitest environment nuxt to 5. Yeah, 29, that's me. That's absolutely me. Oh, it's not published. What projects am I focused on these days? This is a very good question. What I'm doing right now is merging nuxt-vitest and nuxt-test-utils. Another thing I'm going to be doing later today is releasing nuxt, a patch version of nuxt. And actually nuxt is largely what I'm focusing on right now. Not force. Sean, hello. I have bad news, Sean. Although actually it might not be too bad because you're also heading off. I'm looking like I might move to another part of the world. Well, not vastly different part of the world. Hey, Flo. Nice to see you. Come on. Yeah. Not too far. I'm going up to Edinburgh. And trying to find out if I know anybody up in Edinburgh. But it should be fun. Should be fun. Okay. Yeah, it's not too bad. Exactly. It's quite close. Don't want to get too far away from the grandparents. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, that's probably fine. This is interesting. Oh, is this because we don't have shamefully hoist? Right. Okay, so what do we need? We need to install h3 and list then. Oh, Todd, you need to come and see. Come and see me in Edinburgh. Actually, anybody's welcome. Won't have a lot of space, I've got to say, so it's a bit of a downgrade from my current place, but it would be very nice. Z, good to see you. Okay, the type test is at last working, that's fine, but I suspect some of the other tests are not going to be working. We're still going to have this issue with our inline, so let's see. This is a total pain, basically. So we need to, okay, I bet it's something related to nuxt. I would expect not be defined. Oh. Let's see. We need to pull in somehow. Here. That won't work actually, but let me just check. Oh yeah, that's because this is also not going to work. Node modules. Interesting. Okay, index.spec. So we have 2 succeeding and then 1 failing. And basically, also have this failing. This is very weird. Let me just try deduping things in case we've got some other duplicate going around. An even bigger fireplace is a very good reason to pick a house. Very good reason indeed, although in this case it is not because the house is quite small, but it should be nice. Okay. What have we got? So we have, looks about right. Okay. Interesting. This isn't actually stopping the, I guess that particular test is not, is running anyway. This may be to do with inline depths. Oh, this is actually to do with the fact that it's, silly. So basically this is to do with it's not a, it's not shamefully hoisted, and we need to be able to resolve view and view router at the moment with PNPM. So this is actually nothing to do with anything we've been doing properly, which is very annoying. Let's see if the test runs now. Yeah. Okay. That's hilarious. Okay, so basically that is fine though, because we fixed a couple of other issues, and we now have added a test suite in our examples. Great. It's always a pain, isn't it? Chud, it is a pleasure, and have fun. Vacation. I can't. understand why you would spend any time of that listening to me, but it's really nice to see you. So have fun. Okay. Cool. This, I think, isn't really a good example. This is more of a full test suite. So I wonder about moving this into a fixtures instead. So we'll just pop that out there and call it fixtures nuxt-vitest. Test fixtures maybe. And we will update our workspace to include test fixtures star. And let's just check that we have our filter in place to do tests. Yeah. Cool. That should still work, I think. Okay, what's failing now? Ah. Well, that's interesting. Why would that fail? Oh, because this one also needs to have Vue and Vue Router installed. Okay. We'll probably need to do the same for our other packages too. Oh, that one is fine. And this one is fine. It seems to be just these packages that didn't have the necessary. Cool. Let's try it again. Well, that's a pain, isn't it? Okay. So what might be wrong here? Please. We have this is interesting. There are a lot of things removed. I wonder if we need to update Nuxt to 3.8.1. Let's try that. Emma Knox, thank you. And yes, Puya. I'm not sure I have a command set up. If there is a way of setting up a command up, I need to do it, but it's vitest that it can't read. Interesting. I'm glad you like it. Sean, did you not do that? Are you sure that you did not do that? This is a pain. Aha, this might also be related, although I don't think it really is. Okay. Nope. And it's looking for vi.function, presumably. Why is it not resolved? So setup is, it's running the hooks, and we have got setup vitest, and we are awaiting import vitest, and then we want to call vitest vi.function. And for some reason in basic.test, we should have vitest installed as a dependency here. It is. And this should be able to import it. Nuxt test-utils should also be able to import it. We also have this installed as dev dependency. So why isn't it working? So if I go to setup, do I need to stop it again? Oh, you had to redo the work you did. So let's try it one more time. I don't think this will make a difference. Okay, then let's just see why. So we have setup vitest, console log vitest. What's weird? So it's returning an import, which is an empty object. This is probably because of Jitty, which is defaulting it probably. So I think we need to use native, what is the thing? I think we need to use, to tell Jitty to use native, what is it? Native ESM, so that it's not defaulting things for us. So we have Jitty, cache, ESM result. Let's try this. Maybe let's just try this to start with. Nope. Let's try oh, is there a reason why this might be? Let's try Jetty debug, just see what's going on. So we are using native import of vitest. That's what we're expecting. Feels a little bit I see. This is why. There seems to be some stub of an empty CJS file, which is the issue here. So the issue is that we're somehow resolving to a vitest stub which doesn't exist, and it should be in fact resolving to index.js. So it's wrongly, Jetty is wrongly picking it, I think. But let's try native modules. TypeScript, vitest. Not sure that's going to work. Let's see if we can wrap it. But yeah, that's what the issue is here, I think. So maybe if I build the package and run the tests, it will get Jetty out of the process. And we'll see if it passes without Jetty. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually working fine, but there's an, is it? We need to install Playwright. All the unrelated things, nothing to do with what we're doing, they always come up, don't they? Rats. So I'm gonna have to go in 2 minutes and set up a Christmas tree. So I will have to finish this another time. But what I have got planned for this evening is we have a Nitro release coming up, Nitro 2.8.0, and a Nuxt patch which will have the latest Nitro. So hopefully that will be quite a nice treat. Oops. Ta-da! Okay, so it all works fine when in production. Now, is that actually what we do with the examples? Yeah, we build it. Maybe that's why we build it, because, well, let's see. Let's push this and we will add nuxt-vitest test suite. I'm expecting this probably won't work because I think we do stub the module back again, but I just want to see how it fails, because I think it probably will be similar. Ah, and I mustn't forget, I do actually have to go. Thank you everybody for joining me. It has been so much fun. Let's see who we can go and raid. I actually don't see anybody I'm following online at the moment, but, ooh, this is Inception. Go back to main, please. So, if anyone has a recommendation, then let me know. Otherwise, I am going to have to head off. Tom, you are late. Can't believe you weren't here. We talked about you so much. No, we didn't. We didn't, don't worry. Okay, I could have said lots of nice things about you, but... Pirate software. Okay. If you embarrass me, if this is a... Okay, this seems like a reasonable thing to do. Cool. Nice. Okay, we'll raid Pirate Software. And everybody, see you all later. And have a great... Ooh, not join. Raid. Raid. We will see... I'll see you all later. Oh, and by the way, don't forget, Anthony Fu is streaming tomorrow. And building some learn.nuxt.com, and honestly, I cannot wait for it. It will be so much fun. So do join him and see what you make of that. But I will see you all later, and yeah, have a nice day.